Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. My name is Braille. I'm going to wait a moment to let in everyone from Instagram and YouTube. Now, Instagram has been acting really funny. So if you're going to be watching me on Instagram, just be aware I've been having some issues. Instagram literally cuts my lives within 30 minutes. At one point, it was 58 minutes. Now they cut it shorter. So the link is in the stories if you want to join us on YouTube. Hey, Key88. Hey, Joy. Hey, Saj. Girl, I don't know. But hey, everyone, how are everyone doing today? Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. This is the first time you've been in my live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about how to get a provider to be illogical and get all his resources. This is not for the guys. So if you want to come back, guys probably need to exit stage left because you're not going to like anything that I have to say today. Hey, Daisy B. Hey. So I'm going to give you a warning on Instagram. If you're watching me on Instagram, there's a good chance that the live stream may be cut short. So you want to make sure that you have access to the link in the stories. That will get you on YouTube. Right now, I'm streaming on both, but I don't have any control of what your Instagram do. Instagram be doing the most. So if it gets cut midstream, I warned you. Okay. So a woman has to get a man to be illogical because the logical decision for men is not to get married. Most women, they're super emotional and men are super logical. But what happens, we need to reverse that dynamic because if you're receiving a free lunch, wouldn't you do everything that you can to continue to receive the free lunch? You have to realize there are women out here that are giving away things for free. They're giving everything away for free. So they don't have to do much in order to receive things for free. And so the logical thing for them is to continue to receive from the women who are giving out something for free. This is the reason why it's so important for you to make him illogical and make him feel, because that is the only way that he's going to be willing to give over his resources. Because for men, it's a risk. It's a big risk to get married. You need to be worth it. You need to be absolutely worth it for him to let all that free lunch go and all the freebies go from what he's getting from other women. So you need to be worth it. You need to make him illogical. You need to make him emotional. You need to make him feel. Now, we started this conversation in the previous video on YouTube, but I didn't have the opportunity to go deeper. So we're going to go deeper in this live stream and talk about what do we need to do? What needs to happen? One of the first things you need to do, y'all need to free yourself. Free yourself. Now, back in the day, there was a movie called The Stepford Wives. Some of you may be old enough to remember it. Some of you may not. But there was a movie called The Stepford Wives, and all the women looked alike. So what you need to do is free yourself from trying to look like everybody else, trying to get on the latest trend, trying to be like everybody else, and just be yourself. Because it's going to be your authentic, unique self that's going to be bringing the type of men that I'm talking about, the men that will be illogical over you and give you the resources. But if you continue to emulate the Stepford Wives of IG and do all the things you see these women doing, you're missing out on bringing in someone who's going to actually care for you for who you truly are. So be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Now, I'm going to go into points on dating. Okay. And I'm going to kind of give some information to women who are already married, because you're going to have to keep this up for the entire marriage. You want him to continue to be illogical. And there's a good reason for that. And I'm going to go into that. So the conversation between you and him should flow. Listen to understand and not respond. You don't have to worry about trying to prove that you're right or prove that you have the answers. That is not your job. The conversation needs to flow. It needs to not be stilted. It needs to not be full of debating and arguing. It needs to not do any of that. So you want to make sure that you learn the art of redirection. Most women have not perfected the art of redirection because you get caught up in your emotions and feelings about something he said. Let me give you a little hint. Men are going to say some dumb ish. They're going to say some dumb ish for real. If you get offended by everything that he says, you're not going to be able to make him illogical and get his resources in the first place. So you're going to have to keep your emotions and feelings and you put it in your back pocket for right now. Guard your heart. Stop trying to be super emotional and going in trying to change or teach a man or to argue with a man or debate a man or make him feel judged. If you allow the conversation just to be in flow and learn the art of redirection. Art of redirection is so magical. The reason why it's so magical is because instead of you all especially when you're getting to topics that maybe he says something very dumb, instead of you constantly jumping on him because he says something dumb, because men will say the unexpected, they will say something dumb. Only time you need to have any type of response or concern yourself about that if he says something super immoral or disrespectful. Those are the only two things that you should be giving a response to, uh, and instead of aligning to the art of redirection. The art of redirection is being able to when you're having a conversation, and instead of jumping in and trying to tell him all about all the things that you know, because there's going to be an opportunity for you to do that. There's going to be an opportunity for you to showcase your intelligence. There's going to be an opportunity for him to realize he's with a really smart girl. So you don't have to. Your intelligence should not be your identity. Just like your business, whatever your career you have, whatever education you have, that should not be your identity. You do not want to lead with that. You want to lead more with your feminine energy. You want to lead more with your uniqueness and the things that make you unique. And you want to perfect the art of redirection. So when he has said something and it is not immoral, does not go against your non-negotiables, you should be able to say, that's a good point. I want to know more. And redirect the conversation back to him so he can continue talking. Because as long as a man is talking, the more that you get to know about him, the more that you get to vet him, the more that you get to understand him. That's the reason why you don't have to worry about so many questions, because you're going to get him talking. You're going to learn the art of redirection. You're going to learn the art of keeping him talking about himself and the things that he likes and the things that he's doing and the things that he wants to accomplish and his dreams, so that you can learn about him. So don't get drawn into politics, religion. I've already said that in the last video before. Don't get drawn to that. I don't care a flying fruitcake about what policies you believe in. I don't give a flying fruitcake about your politics or your religion. Not in this conversation, especially when you're dealing with a provider and you need to make him illogical because you want his resources. The reason why it doesn't matter, because when a man falls in love, he's influenced by the woman he's with. The things that you think are so bad that he's such a terrible guy that it's never going to work, but he's a provider, are the things that are probably that he can be influenced by later on. That's the thing that women don't understand. Women don't understand their power. If you understand your power as a woman, you don't have to go in here and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. This is what you should be doing. The reason why you don't have to do all that, because women don't understand, is that when a man is illogical about you, when he's emotional about you, when he feels for you, a man will put rules on his own life. You don't have to put rules on him. He'll put rules on his own life. For instance, if you want him to be home at a certain time after work, that man will show up after work on time at that time, because he will put rules on his own life. He is not gonna this is not dependent on you telling him all the time or telling him what to do. And see, that is the thing that women are losing at, because you don't have to tell men everything to do. You don't have to control men. You don't have to demand anything from men. When you get a man to act illogical about you, fall in love with you, and give you his resources, a lot of men are influenced by you, and they will willingly give those things to you. You're not trying to beg for these things. So trigger his hero instinct, because men like to be heroes. They want to save you. They want to take care of you. They want to provide for you. And see, so for some women, that this is a mindset reset that you need. You need to realize that they are providers. They will take care of you. They will do the things that's going to take care, make sure that you're good. But a lot of us need that reset. We need that reminder, I think, because we've been through so much, or we've experienced differently, or we've never experienced a man being a hero. But you need to trigger his hero instincts. Why is that? Why is that so important? Because the man that feels triggered by the hero instinct, this is also making him feel somewhat illogical. Because most people know that they can't lift buildings, right? But a man who feels illogical and emotional about you, he'll try his best. He'll try to make sure he does everything he can to lift that building, to provide for you, to make sure you have a roof over your head, to make sure you have food on the table, to make sure that you're good. You will not have lack dealing with a man that is feeling illogical about you. But you may have lack if you're dealing with a man who doesn't feel illogical about you. And there's reason behind that. And it's all scientific. We're going to go into it later on. But trigger his hero instinct. Even you can start doing this on the first date, by the way. Let me pull my notes out because I won't forget nothing. Because this is too good for us to miss anything. You can do this on the first date by letting him know. And here's an example. So something that you can say in the very first meeting when you're meeting him and you want to trigger that hero instinct, you want him to start to feel deeply about you. You can say, there's something about you that makes me want to talk to you. And there's something about me, it just tuned in to everything you're saying. There's something about you that it just pulls me. These things trigger that hero instinct for him because men want to be able to provide, teach, aid, take care of. They are wired to want to do these things. A lot of times women are talking themselves out of being able to experience that because they want to go in and they want to persuade him or to, change his mind. Some women want to have him change his beliefs or opinions because it doesn't match hers. Men have their own opinions. They have their own beliefs. Don't worry about that. Like I said, as long as it's not immoral, as long as it's not non-negotiable, it's not one of your non-negotiables, don't concern yourself about that. You're getting triggered and upset about the wrong thing. Some of y'all are really throwing back a provider and fumbling the bag just because you got triggered because he said something about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a Democrat or I'm going to be a Republican. You're so invested in the echo chamber, you don't understand that doesn't matter. Because when people love each other, a lot of times they're willing to listen to each other to see if anybody, if they have something that is relevant, that they want to hear, they tend to kind of lean towards the person they love. So sometimes ideals, beliefs, and opinions tend to change based off the person that they are attached to or connected to. So you're worrying yourself about the wrong things. You're getting yourself in a hissy. You're getting your bonnet in a twist for no reason because men are influenced by women. But you have to know how to treat them. You have to know how to make them feel. You have to know how to make them feel illogical because everything that you're asking for is illogical. All of it. Everything you're asking for is illogical. Marriage is illogical. Okay? Marriage is illogical for men, especially in this day and age where he can go around the corner and get a free lunch. Women are offering their pennies, their homes, their cars, money, anything that he can probably think of. There's a woman that's giving it and it's available to it. So it's illogical for him to actually decide to settle down with one woman. So that is the reason why making him feel illogical, making him feel emotional about you is highly important. And this is something you need to continue throughout the entire marriage. You don't quit just because you got the guy, just because he's yours, just because you put a ring on your finger. You don't quit because what you're going to find out what's going to happen if you quit mid or once you get him or after the wedding. And men I have a lot of men in my family and men have talked about how they experience it. They experience a change in a woman where she just kind of reverted back to doing things that are good against the relationship and the relationship started to crumble. Now, let me tell you what they did because I've seen this up and close and personal. Being married for 23 years, I watched marriages go and I watched marriages fall. And the things that I saw was the woman, she started to try to change him. She started to try to build a bear. She tried to build her marriage in the way that she wanted to and forgot that he's a human being. So the things that they previously agreed on and the things that they focused on before the marriage changed after the marriage because the woman was, playing her part. So this is the reason why I train women so that they can have this continuously. And when you have a man that's illogical about you, and Instagram cut my live stream. And when you have a man that's illogical about you, what happens is he puts rules on his own self. You don't have to constantly figure out where his location at. You don't constantly have to follow him around like a dog. You don't constantly have to figure out where he's at and what he's doing. Men will willingly let you know that information, and then they will actually want you to go with them. They actually want you to go with them. You want to ride with me? I'm going over to see my mama. You want to ride with me? I'm going to see my cousin. You'll find yourself being the passenger princess when a man is illogical and feels strongly about you.
because he wants you with him. He doesn't care about what anybody else has to say about you. He doesn't care if everybody's saying, "Oh, she's what." He doesn't even care about your past. Like they'll be in the streets, be talking about, "Oh, well, she's a, she ain't got the best of past." People know her. Have you heard what she did here and there? Men don't care. When they feel illogical and emotional about you, they can give a flying fruitcake about your past and what you did in the past. They won't care. They'll take you on because they feel illogical about you, and they will want to do anything to make sure that you get those resources, to give you the protection of his name. It keeps stopping, or is it me? Is it YouTube stopping? Is the YouTube stopping? All right, because y'all let me know if it's stopping. I definitely want to make sure it's not stopping. But you want to trigger that hero instinct in men because it is going to make sure that he is illogical and emotional about you. You want to make sure that men that are illogical and emotional about you, they will check in on you. They will check on how you feel about something. They will check on you to make sure that everything is going well in the relationship. I don't even think a lot of women have ever experienced where men have come mid check in the relationship and said, "Hey, how's everything going? How do you feel?" Yeah, Instagram did stop. Instagram stopped. I don't know what's going on. Instagram literally let me be live for 10, 15 minutes and then it's gone. I don't know if that means I've been banned from doing live streams or something. It may, because Instagram is highly, highly funny. So trigger the hero instincts in him. Men have the urge to teach, to provide, to protect, to take care of you. Never forget, I don't care if a lot of men have been conditioned out of that urge. That urge is still there on a DNA level. So you need to make sure that you trigger that in him. Men want to take care of you. They want to provide for you. They want to protect you, and they want to give you all his resources. That is what men want to do. Ask for help. Like, stop being scary. Stop being scared to ask a man for help. He is literally designed to help you, to want to assist you. Ask for help. Either you can ask him to fix something, open something, or get advice. Men, especially in the very beginning, you might not want to have him go to your home. Don't have him go to your home to ask him to open up a jar or something. But you can utilize this in the very beginning, because you could be like, "You know what? You're so smart." Compliment. Wink, wink, wink. Compliment, right? "You're so smart. I could really use your advice. I'm having trouble with whatever it is. I'm having trouble with a friend. I'm having trouble figuring out this, or I'm having trouble understanding this." But you can ask for help in the very beginning, because that will be different from what he's used to experiencing. Most men, when they go on first dates with women, and this is what I've been told, the women try to school him. The women try to teach him. The women try to judge him. They do all of this, and this kills the polarity. This repels the men that you desire, the men that you want. If you want to make him illogical, it's going to be easy for him to be logical when you're being and acting just like other women. If you're acting like other women who are needy, clingy, insecure, that they have to go around and flaunt their intelligence, or they don't feel like a woman. Don't act like those women. Continue to be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Ask for help. And then once you receive that help, appreciate him. Show him appreciation. "I love that you're such a gentleman." He opens the door. And that's all you have to say. You don't have to go into, you don't have to constantly do this every single thing that he does, but you do want to make sure that he knows that he's appreciated. So you want to make sure that even on the first date, you begin showing him a different grown woman versus the women that he dated in the past. Because I can tell you, majority of women he's dated in the past, they won't have anything up on you. Most of those women are too busy trying to, they've made their identity into their education. They've made their identity into where they work at, or the money that they make, or the things that they have. And so they lead with their identity. They think that's the most, or that's the only thing they have to give to men. And since they feel like that's the only thing they have to give to with men, they lead with that. And you're not going to be that girl. You're going to be authentic. You know how to redirect things back. You know how to not get triggered and trigger his evolutionary makeup where he becomes the hero. So you're going to be able to act and you're going to be different overall. And immediately he's going to take your notice. He's going to realize, oh my gosh, this is a different type of woman. I've not come across this type of woman in a long time. So show him you appreciate him. Keep the polarity alive. Y'all know how I said that I was going to make sure that I drop hints or give tips to married women, because people get on me all the time about, you've been married for so long, you never give any tips. So we're going to give you some tips here. This tip is just for you, because not just for you. It's going to be for single women also. But I'm going to make sure I give you an example where it applies to married people also. If a woman lets her insecurity run the show, she gets emotional, and she kills the polarity by getting out of the feminine principle. Women don't beg for time, attention, or sex. And if you want to classify that relationship, women don't beg for a relationship. Women don't run around begging men for attention. Women don't run around begging men for time. Women don't run around begging men for sex. If you're a married woman and you realize that the polarity is not there, the polarity is lacking. See, the thing is, right now on social media currently, we have women that brag about being in long marriages, but they mistreat men. And I'm going to tell you, just because a man doesn't leave, it doesn't mean anything. What truly is more important is if they are happy together. She's happy, but is he happy? Because men show up in a different way when they're not happy. They become more logical. They become more nonchalant. They become less caring. And a lot of married women are experiencing this, but they don't realize what's happening. A lot of times what happens is your polarity needs to be reset. Your polarity needs to be reset so that you can experience the juiciness and attraction that needs to be in a marriage. Because if you lose this, and this is the reason why it's so important for you to make sure this continues, even while y'all are just dating, you want to make sure that the polarity stays the same. You want to make sure it doesn't die because of the fact that you stepped outside of the feminine principle and you went to him as a masculina and you're begging him to commit to you, or you're begging him to spend more time with you, or you're begging him to romance you. If you do that, you've already lost. The power dynamic has swung. The pendulum has swung in his favor. And he's going to start to feel more logical about you. Now he's going to look at you like, what did I see? I thought she was different. I thought she was a different type of grown woman. I thought she gave differently. I thought she was a different type of woman. Now, if you're a married woman and you're not getting time, attention, or even sex, there's other ways to go about that. So let me help my married pedestal wives up for a second, okay? Just for a second. And then we're going to move on to the next thing. First of all, if your husband isn't spending a lot of time with you, you don't go beg him for time. You don't beg and plead for him to spend time with you. What you do, you should go and spend more time with your friends, your family, and with your hobbies. And this is what you're going to do. If it's really desperate, time calls for desperate measures. How do I know this? Because I was once there. I got married. I changed who I was, not realizing that my husband married me because I was unique, that I was me. I changed who I was to be a good little wife. And that good little wife started to experience where the husband wasn't being illogical about me. The things I talk about now weren't the things that happened in the very beginning. He stopped wanting me to go with him. He stopped wanting to go out with me. He stopped showing up with gifts and being romantic. He stopped doing all those things. And I was really confused until I started tracing it back and realizing it's because I changed. I started focusing on him and putting him in the center of my world. Men don't want to be your center. They don't want to be your center. And since they don't want to be your center, women mistake that when they get into a commitment or a marriage that he should be your center when he shouldn't be your center. And so I made him my center, and that's how I messed up. That's how I effed up my marriage for the first 5 years, when I would have had that juiciness and attraction and that pursuit from him as a husband if I wouldn't have tried to revert back to be the wife that the Southern women had taught me to be. They taught me to be that little wife that the guy is the center. And you're going to hear this over and over. I'm quite sure you've seen it on social media where people are like, make him the center. If you do this and this for him, but that is not the way marriage is truly supposed to be. If you know anything about marriage, I'm not even going to get spiritual in this conversation. I'm going to tell you this. The thing that you need to know is that husbands serve families. Husbands serve wives. If he's not serving family, he's not serving wives, he's serving himself. And when he starts serving himself, he starts to be more selfish. He starts to not be present. He starts to be more nonchalant. So when you have the dynamic off within the marriage, you're going to start to experience some things that you're not going to be happy about. And it's not going to be something you're interested in. So what I'm going to tell you to do is go and call up your best friend. I don't care what that best friend is, and tell her, let's go out. Not to a club, just go out to have fun. Go out for drinks and dinner with her. And then I want you to go to him and I want you to say, you know what? Sheila and I are going out to dinner and I bought a new dress. Do you have time to give me your opinion on it? Make sure the dress is gorgeous. It's sexy. It is everything on you. Okay. Then I want you to model the dress for him. The dress must be hot. You must be hot within the dress. You must come off confident. Don't choose something that's hot, but you're not confident in it. Because I want you to twirl. I want you to pose. I want him to see everything that is his that is going out with a friend. And I guarantee you what will happen. He will get tired of that situation and that scenario, and he's going to ask you for time. He's going to ask you to go out with him. He's going to ask you to become that passenger princess that you was when y'all were dating. But you should never beg for time, attention, or sex. I don't care what stage your relationship is. You never beg for those things. There's ways of getting those things without begging for it. Be present. Never forget to be present. I think when it comes to social media, there's so much information that when women are going on dates now you're thinking about what did my favorite influencer say? What did even my mentor say? What did my teacher say about the scenario? I think the things that you learn need to become an embodiment, because when you get put in that place, you want to be present and you want to, it has a different effect when a woman is present and she's not in her head. So you can't be in your head thinking about your next move or what you're going to say, because men can feel that you've withdrawn from the conversation or you're no longer there. So you don't want to ever give him that feeling. They can feel it. So you want to make sure that the things that you learn, what you need to do. If you're in the phase of learning about these things, and maybe this is the first time you've ever heard any of this stuff, then you need to start watching the videos over and over and over until you have it here. And then till you have it here, then you want to get it here. You want to get it in your heart. You want it to become an embodiment. Why is it important? Because when you're on dates, you don't have time to be constantly thinking about, oh, I saw that in the video. Let me figure out what I got to do then. Like they're not, men can feel when you are withdrawn. They can feel when you're in your head. So you do not have time on dates to be in your head trying to figure out the perfect response or do the perfect thing. But if you make it an embodiment, you don't have to worry about that. A lot of the things that I do, they're natural to me. It's a part of my personality. It's who I am as a lover. But you have to develop your own style, your own personality, your own thing. So it's so natural. So when he says something, you're not in your head trying to think of the perfect response. You just kind of let it flow. And this puts him at ease, because not only when he's illogical, you have to disarm him. You disarm him by being. That is the perfect way to say that. That when he is illogical and he's emotional, you disarm him by being. Because most men are so used to women carrying the conversation, for them talking the entire time that they're together, for him learning everything about a woman on the first date. When you're just being, and you have the art of redirection, you know how to redirect the conversation back to him so that he can continue talking and keep the conversation flowing. I've actually had a woman go on a date before, and she just sit there silent. And when I tell you, this man was like, oh my gosh, she's the best woman ever. Like, she didn't say a word. She said nothing. It was silence that got her a second date. And from that date, she learned more about men. The things I tried to teach her, it kind of was a light bulb moment for her. She realized, see, this is what Brad been talking about. Men are simple. They are so simple. We make them hard. So giving them something to work on. Because men love challenges. Men love challenges. A lot of times women don't challenge men properly. The way women are challenging men is by being difficult, toxic, or combative, or having a intelligence contest. That is not challenging a man. If you truly want to challenge a man, you're going to give him something to work on, because a husband is truly something about service. Men are about service, and they're servicing you. But if you're not giving them anything to work on, you're not giving them anything they need to do, you're not giving them anything to work with, that is an issue. Suggesting new activities. Some of you all want to go restaurants. You want to do so many restaurants. You want to go here, you want to go there. But if you want to create this space where you all bond, and he begins to attach to you, and he begins to be illogical about you, you need to learn how to suggest new activities that you and him are going to like. And some of the bonding activities I have suggested clients to have: escape rooms, cooking classes, trivia dates. These things help bond. Games, anything that where y'all can work together, and it's a challenge where he has to be responsible for you in that moment, where he has to take charge and be responsible and lead the way. That's going to be perfect activities for him and you to bond over, for him and you to begin creating that bond where he's going to be illogical and emotional about you. Let him solve your problems. Let him solve your problems. Men love solving problems. Men love figuring things out for you. Men love taking the lead and making it better. So let him solve your problems. Men love challenge, and this is where you're going to challenge him at. Use respectful language. Men desire respect above anything else. Learn how to respectfully disagree. When he is saying something that's disagreeable, and I'm going to keep preparing you. I'm keep saying this over and over because I want you to be prepared for this. He's going to say something dumb. Okay? He's going to say something dumb. So I want you to expect men to say something dumb. As long as it's not immoral or against your non-negotiables, then you should expect him to say something dumb. And instead of getting triggered and offended, which is not going to help you make him illogical and get his resources, you are going to have to be better at that. Like, I have been in spaces because my family's mostly men, absolutely. And some of the men, I think a lot of women wouldn't like some of the men in my family. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they say dumb stuff. And since a lot of women are easily triggered and easily emotional about people's opinions and suggestions, they probably wouldn't like. I've had a cousin to say this: women are better cooks, so they should do all the cooking. If you get triggered by that, and if you get upset by that, you may miss the opportunity to choose a point and disagree respectfully, because a lot of us don't know how to do that. Instead of being upset about that, you can say, I can agree. Women are better cooks. However, some of the best chefs in the world are men. I love watching a man cook. It's so sexy. See how I changed that? See how I just brought that back to focus and to how I want to be treated, and to setting a standard, letting him know it's sexy when men cook, versus being upset because he said that women are better at cooks, and so they should be in the kitchen. Because you may hear some foul mess like that. You may hear some foul mess like that. You have to be better at not getting triggered, because everybody has their opinions, and it doesn't mean anything. Y'all have to realize a lot of times it doesn't mean anything, because men are influenced by women. Because if he's illogical and emotional about you, even if he can't cook, he will cook. I know couples right now where the woman sits at home, takes care of the baby, and the man comes in, cooks and cleans. And how logical is that? She is sitting at home. Why isn't she cooking and cleaning? That is their agreement. He doesn't want it. He prefers his cooking. He prefers to cook. To him, that is another way for him to take care of her. But some of us that don't understand that men who are illogical about a woman will do some weird and wild things for them, we may get triggered and upset about it. I've learned to just mind my business. It is. I love that for her. I love that they've come to an agreement and they live the life that they desire to live. It's none of my business. If he calls or texts, I know you've heard about playing the game and not calling him back for 24 hours or not texting him back within 24 hours. Respond when you have time versus playing a game. Have a full life so you don't have to play games. I don't even, sometimes I miss calls from my husband and I'm a stay at home mother and wife. Only reason I miss the calls is because I have an entire life. I have hobbies, I have clients, I have a business. I like to read. I like to get to absorb information. I like to connect and go out with my girlfriends for lunch. So I have an entire busy life. So sometimes I do miss his phone call. But as soon as I see that I missed it, I'm going to call him back. I'm going to text him back. Because the thing is, when uh, a woman doesn't call him back or text him back and y'all play these 24-hour games, men are aware that what you're doing. And see, they have to get interest from you. They have to know that you're interested. If they don't feel like you're interested, they're just going to move around to somebody else. And see, men have an ego. They have an ego. Their egos are very fragile. What happens if you start playing these little games about not calling him or not texting him? He just goes and meets with the woman who's going to show interest, because that's all it is. It's interest. And I'm not saying that you got to sit here and be on the hook and you have to have your phone with you every time so you don't miss a phone call. I'm saying call him back once you realize you missed a phone call. Call him back once you realize you missed his text. Don't play that game, because especially in the very beginning, because he will lose interest. You haven't hooked him in yet. You haven't done enough to make him illogical. So you don't want to sit here and play the game and miss out on an opportunity of a man who's going to provide for you and give you all these resources because you will not return a text or a phone call, or you're adhering to some dumb advice out of a book. Because sometimes information out of books don't relate to real life. Sometimes you have to know when to apply that and when not to. Say no without saying no. It's important that he believes that he's getting the cookie. Remember yesterday's live. Okay, I know today's live is not as savage as yesterday's, the day before. And that's the reason for this, because this information, I don't want to get lost in the sauce. I don't want the algorithm to push this further down the algorithm because of the language. So you have to get very good at saying no without saying no. I'm going to give you an example and way to do that, because see, men have the ego. So if he feels like everything's going well and he's attracted to you and you're attracted to him, and then he makes a play for you and you're like, no, I'm celibate, I'm waiting, you cannot have me. If you start acting like that and he feels that he's never going to get the cookie, then he's just going to move around to the free lunch. And yes, with some men, it's going to be good that they move around to the free lunch because they don't have any boundaries. Hallelujah, they go on to the free lunch, some of them. But if this is the guy and he's checking off all the things that you want, he has the values, he has everything that you're looking for and desiring a man, he's a provider, then you don't want to lose out by telling him no without making sure he has a way of getting to the cookie, versus him feeling like the cookie is never going to be available. When you go in and say dumb-ish, like I'm celibate, or dumb-ish, like I don't do that on the first date, those things repel. Okay. Now, I will say this. Usually, if he comes on too strong, then that's a yellow flag. If he comes on too strong, he too handsy, that's a yellow flag. Because men who don't want to mess it up, they kind of keep their hands to themselves. So you want to pay attention to that. Is he coming on too strong? Is he trying to get his hands on my thigh real quick? Is he just invading my space? Men who realize that this is the woman that's I'm going to be illogical about, I'm going to be emotional about, he's going to try to give you space so you don't feel like he's invading your space. He's not even going to try to go on too strong because he don't want to lose the opportunity to be with you. So you pay attention to that. But for the guy, when y'all are still continuously dating, and maybe it's the third or fourth date and everything's been going well, and instead of you acting like this man has offended your entire honor, what I want you to do is you say this, and I want you to think about, I want you to practice it so it'd be like an embodiment that it just comes out very easily and effortlessly. I want it to be somewhat natural, but in order to say no without saying no, You want to say this. You're very tempting. However, I'm saving that part of myself for my husband. Kiss him on the cheek and leave. Don't wait for him to have a conversation. Don't wait for you all to discuss it. Don't wait for him to counter it. I want you to make your grand exit there, and then make sure your grand exit is a walk. Develop the walk. Develop that walk where I like to see her coming, but I love to see her go. Develop that walk, and then go on and jump into the Uber, go on, wherever y'all, whatever y'all have, or whatever type of agreement y'all have. Either he brought you to the restaurant or he sent you an Uber. Get into the Uber. Like, time it properly, time it right now, so it will work. All right, so let's go into the jump into the chat, and then I'll add some more to this, because this is highly important. It keeps okay. Good on my end. Yes, thank you all for letting me know. Yeah, Instagram stop. I don't know. What you're teaching is why hoes be winning, and it's why people are shocked when prime men end up choosing the last woman you thought he would. Yeah, because the women who should get chosen, the women who have done everything right, they went to school, they got a degree, they built their resources, they're very stable, they know how to communicate, they have all these things going for them, but they've made it their identity. See, the thing is, you're worth more than the sum of your education, or the sum of your money, or the sum of your career. And see, that is the issue. And see, you don't know how to have like the interactions with men to keep that polarity going, to keep that conversation going. You have strong opinions. I think we all do as women. When you're a grown woman, you have strong opinions. You just know how to talk to men where instead of repelling the man and pushing the man away, you know how to get the man on your side. You know how to update the man so that maybe he might have thought something that's old news and he's being updated by you. That's what influence does for you. When a man gives you his influence, just because of the fact that he's illogical and emotional about you, you can update him. You will update his opinions. You will update his beliefs. Baby, you can even update his religion. But that's the power of being a grown woman. You have to stop getting triggered and offended by everything someone says. People are going to offend you. They're going to say things just out the side of their neck and out the side of their pocket. People are going to do that all the time. You have to learn how to not give energy to something that does not matter. And men are going to say something dumb. I want you to say that with me now. Men are going to say something dumb. That doesn't mean he's a bad man. That doesn't mean he isn't the right man, because men are going to say something dumb. Expect him to say something dumb. And that's also, like Jazz said, that's also the reason why women be upset by the type of women that the man chooses. They're like, she got such a bad past. She didn't sleep with Tom, Dick, Harry, Charles, and everybody else. And he chose her. He chose her because she made him feel. He didn't choose other women because they didn't know how to make him feel. They know how they feel, and they bring their feelings into it. But this is the reason why you have to be relaxed on your feelings, and you have to move logically so he can be illogical. You've transformed my mentality so much. Thank you. I share your videos and hope women will learn as I did. Yes, B, thank you so much. I appreciate you. They'll also show up transactionally. There isn't, this is the reason why I don't jump into full-length conversations about how to get money from men, because it don't matter. When you make a man illogical about you, they'll give you everything. They won't hold anything back from you. They will want to provide for you. They want to give the money out their wallet. They want to give the money out their 401ks. They want to give the money out their insurance policies. There isn't a man that's going to hold back transactionally, financially from you when you make him feel illogical. What would Braille do? That's what I thought yesterday. Wow. I'm glad you said we can say we are keeping it for our husband. Yes, you want to make sure you be like, I'm keeping it for my husband. Like, you want to make sure you say that, because you don't want to ever make a no. Because if the cookie is not available, why would I chase the cookie? Like, it's logical. Why would I chase the cookie? That's the reason why women have to be more logical. Men are meant to be illogical about the women that they are meant to serve. You won't get a man to be in that position if he is not illogical, because the logical thing is to get the free lunch. The logical thing is to take and not to give, especially basically receive from others, because everybody's willingly giving it away for free. So y'all have to think about this thing logically and get out of your emotions about this information. And once you understand the game, well, I ain't gonna say again. Once you understand how men operate, then it's easier for you to be able to win with men. And then when you win with men, you'll have a choice. It's basically you can be like, okay, well, Charles isn't living up to what he's supposed to be doing. So he is not husband material. Let him go ahead and move him aside. But look at Tom. Tom is doing very well. He's my number one contender for marriage. You should have men chasing you. And y'all know what? Anytime I sit here and thought about it just a minute ago, I thought about creating the meme where all of the men are chasing the woman with the ring and she's like running, because that's what it should be for women. The reason why it's the opposite is because women have reversed the roles. They've reversed the power dynamics in marriage and in relationship and commitment. So now we have the opposite happening. We have the man running and the women with rings. And that is not the way it's supposed to be. It's not even natural. It's not even natural. The rules teaches low confidence women how to fake play hard to get. Don't return his calls in 2 hours. And see, that's bad advice, especially in the very beginning. Because if you have a life, you don't have to fake anything. Like, I don't have to fake having a business. I don't have to fake having friends. I don't have to fake having people who need me. I don't have to fake my commitment. I don't have to fake having a membership. I don't have to fake the things I have to do. So I will contact him back as soon as I see it. Because sometimes I have been in my home doing something and I still miss his phone call. And I just call him back. So all of the rules, I don't like that book. I've heard women suggest it to me to read it. I was like, I don't need to read that book. You're talking to a woman who's always been easily able to get proposals from men. Before I married my husband, I had 3 proposals, because men are supposed to chase you down. When you're ready for marriage, men are supposed to be chasing you down with a ring. If they're not chasing you down with a ring, it is because you have effed up your chances somewhere along the line. Maybe you don't have your identity. You haven't done the work. You haven't stepped into your grown woman and pulled up your big girl britches. I don't know, but you've done something to F this up if men aren't chasing you with the ring. Can you briefly touch on initiating contact? I respond but never reach. First they say I'm not interested and leave. It feels like chasing. Can you briefly touch on initiating contact? I respond but never reach. First they say I'm not interested. Well, then that's right. Y'all have to realize, if a man is not initiating contact with you, then he isn't your guy. Like, y'all have to realize, you're gonna come across in this thing that you're trying to accomplish for yourself. You're trying to get the best man to win. And so you're going to come across some men who are not going to live up to the hype. They're not going to go in and initiate contact. They have been. See, the thing is, y'all have to remember, we live in a time now where, like I said, the example with the man running and the women running with rings behind him, that's what's going on. So he's so used to women initiating contact and trying to get him to commit that he may feel like you're not interested in him because of that. If you know that you're following the feminine principles, then you need to ignore that man. That man is not your man. He is not your person. He's not even operating from the masculine principles. And yes, there are men who operate from the masculine principles. They want to initiate contact. I'm realizing that saying no without saying no, eventually they may feel invested in you and not walk away so easily after at least 6 months of dating. I realize that saying no without saying no, eventually they may feel invested in you and not walk away so easily after at least 6 months of dating. I'm not sure what you want out of that. If a man becomes a problem, then you go and get one of those things against him. I can't remember what the name of it is right now, but I know you go to the police and you can get you an order for him to stay away from you. That may be what you have to do. You see, the things you can't focus in on how he may feel in that moment for that. See, that's the issue. Another issue with women. They bring up stuff about how he's gonna affect the man. Men don't want women who do that. Men want women who center themselves. That's what men want from women. Women, you're talking about an imaginary situation that hasn't happened. That's not grown woman like. That's not grown woman like. Why are we concerning ourselves about something that hasn't happened? If this man is so invested in you that after 6 months of dating and he still keeps coming around and doesn't want you, thank you, slave bell, restraining order. That's all we can do. But you're getting yourself caught up and, probably fumbling the information, rejecting the information, not realizing what's going to happen is you're focusing on how it's going to affect him. Y'all got to become more woman-centered, more centered around you and your standards and your beliefs and your opinions and things that you desire out of the relationship. You can't sit here and be thinking about what if. What ifs, things that haven't happened, they're going to help you fumble. That's how you're going to fumble, because you're going to be too busy in your head thinking about what's going to happen if I do this and how is he going to respond. Trust me, you put your big girl panties on and you'll know what to do at the time. I know we should be our standards and not speak them, but when on date number 3, he is making a move towards sex, how do we let them know we're waiting into marriage? You do exactly what I just said. You tell them the same things. You keep that going. You want to make sure that, and I don't care how you say it, honestly. I really don't. I don't care how you say it. I don't care if you're like, you know what? You're so impatient. You're so impatient, but I'm still dating for marriage. Or you can be funny. You can be like, is that a proposal? And trust me, men, if he's not ready, he's going to run screaming for the hills. You just keep it going, because he does not. Men, if you tell a man up front that he's not going to get the cookie, why would he invest any more time to getting to know you? He won't. He won't. He will not. Because if you're saying I'm going to be celibate for a year or 2 years, I'm never having sex, why would a man want to pursue that? He won't. He's going to move right around to the free lunch. He hasn't had enough time to get to know you. Did you accept other proposals and then end the engagements later, or did you only accept your husband's proposal? I only accepted my husband's proposal. Do you recommend only accepting one proposal or many at the same time? I only accepted one. Like, you only need one. You don't have to accept all of them. I just got the one. I married the one. I've been married for 23 years. Also, that's fear holding you back. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Yes, absolutely. That's the reason why I always encourage women to do the work. It's going to be hard for you to make a man illogical if you allow fear, insecurity, or what ifs, or if you concern yourself more about how he's going to feel. I was responding to you saying no in a nice way. I meant that they may feel invested because of the time you have to have dated and not be tempted to walk away so easy from a platonic relationship. If he walks away, he walks away. I mean, you did the things that's going to create the illogical response for him. So if he walks away, he walks away. You're not trying to hold on to no man. Remember, one of the first rules of feminine principles: we do not beg for time, attention, or sex from men. I love this. It's all about being genuine. It is good intentions with my statement. I know I didn't take it anyway. I just want you all to know how important it is that you center yourself, because this is your goal. This is the thing you should focus in on. You should focus in on getting a man that is genuine, that is confident, that is a provider, that is a protector, that is, has beliefs of having family. You should focus in on that guy. But those men, they like women who self-centered, who like to center themselves. They don't like women who are fearful, who are insecure. They don't like women who are going to try to control them. They like to put the rules on themselves instead of a woman trying to put the rules on them. Men have an ego. And so my job here is to wake you all up. That's all I'm doing. Wake you up. That's all I want to do is wake you up, because you want him to be illogical. This is how men end up with women who drain their accounts, who take advantage of them, who married them and take them for everything that they got. And you would think that he was thinking logical based off the things that he saw from her. He saw that she she was only about herself, and he saw all of the red flags, and he still married her. Why do y'all think he did that? Because men have to be illogical for marriage. They have to be illogical about getting themselves into a marriage, because he is on the he could possibly lose. He's taking a risk. And when a man has to take a risk, he has to be illogical about taking that risk. He has to believe that it is worth, you are worth everything to take that risk. And in order for you to do that, you got to make him feel that. When you make him feel illogical, he will put rules on himself. He will be romantic. He will continue to pursue even 23 years later. But when you are the illogical one and he is the relaxed one, he will start being more nonchalant. He will stop being romantic. He will stop pursuing you. So it depends on what are you trying to obtain? Do you want the illogical man that is going to be wanting to pursue you until the day he dies? Or do you want the man who's nonchalant, who could take or leave what's going on? Yes, if they walk away, they walk away. I just mean that we invest time in dating. Well, the thing is, you can't get away from investing time in dating. Like, there's no shortcuts for this. You have to date. You're gonna have to date. You're gonna have to learn how to vet. You're gonna have to learn to let men go who don't qualify for you. You're gonna have. That's just part of the game. I mean, I don't know why I keep saying game, because it's well, you know what, I can't say game, because you know what a game is. A game is a series of decisions and choices. So it is a game to a certain degree. And in order for that to happen, you have to make sure that you're steadfast in what you're trying to accomplish. So I am, any more questions or comments that anyone want to add? Because you do have to make him illogical. That's highly important. He has to feel strongly about you. He has to be the type of guy that's going to go in and he's going to give you everything. So all the conversations that's on social media, they don't mean anything, because a man will still marry a woman who has kids. A man will still marry a woman who has a high body count. A man will still marry a woman who doesn't have family. But we have to have a strategy of how we're gonna take care of these things so that he will feel when he's with us. Most women have lost the skill of making men feel. We picked up figuring out how to be his adversary, or how to fight against him, or how to be combative, but we don't know how to make him illogical and make him feel. Right. Saying this is to say that a man may see more value in you when you're saying no in a nice way. Yes, ma'am. I think, yeah, it was probably just a misunderstanding, because I get where you're going now with that. Absolutely. But you got to make him illogical. You don't make him illogical with all the foolishness that you see on social media. Only thing you're doing is being one of many. A lot of women are operating a way of trying to play games and stuff. Men can sense that. I'm not playing games with him. You know why I'm not going to play games with him? It is because of the fact that I have a full life to live. And I don't have I wouldn't have the time or the desire. It's not even about the time, because I have the time since I'm a stay-at-home mother and wife. I don't have the desire. I like things to be simple and very easy. A man that's analytical in nature and self-aware of his actions, is he harder to make illogical? He's an overthinker. Those men are the easiest ones to do. You know why? Because all you have to do is get them out of their heads and into their bodies. They're very easy. Those are actually easier ones to do. It's the ones who are like aware of the ones who don't really think and they're always in their pleasure. Those are the ones that are harder to make illogical, because of the fact they're already there. They're already living a very pleasurable life. They're already kind of doing everything that they want to do. The ones who are overthinkers and stuff like that, they're easy. They're easy to do, because they're looking for any opportunity to get out of their heads. They're always in their heads making plans, solving problems, and they would love to take a break from their mind. All you have to do is get him in his body. How you get him in his body? Make him feel. The ones who are already feeling and in pleasure and they just take life as a game, they're the hard ones to make illogical because they already live in an illogical life. So he's easy. Oh, I would take an overthinker, a man who's analytical, and make him illogical. I would prefer that one versus the other because that one is easy. Because they're just looking for a break from their own thoughts. They're looking for a young woman who's going to make him feel like a hero. A young woman who's going to agree with him and not argue with him, or he has to prove a point. He's looking for a young woman that he can teach something. And so he is easy. It's the other guys that women like. Women love they consider what the bad boy. Women love the bad boy. But see, the bad boy, he's in pleasure. He's the hardest man to get to make illogical because he's already living a lackadaisical life. He's already living on the edge. So he's the hard one to do. And I don't know. I think women love a challenge to a certain degree too. We do. We do love a challenge to a certain degree because we like to get the guy that all the other girls can't get or all their other girls desire. But they're the hardest ones to make illogical. It can be done, but you got to flip the script. You got to flip the script. Intelligence and being more logical is going to be the more way to get him from his pleasure. So there's something called the law of opposites. And so that's what you have to think about when it comes to this information. I'm realizing a lot of ways I debate and disagree with men, which probably makes him feel disrespected and not interested. Absolutely, because men love to be respected. They did a survey and they found out that men would love to have respect if they can't have love. So if you would be respectful towards him, and there's a way to respectfully disagree. You can learn how to respectfully disagree without hurting his ego, okay, and continuing the conversation. I'm too analytical myself and I need to relax more. And so you're going to bring in, if you're too analytical and you can't feel your body and you can't be in your body and you can't be in your pleasure, what's going to happen is going to be hard for you to actually make a man feel because your brain is going to get in the way. Your thinking is going to get in the way. You're probably always solving a problem in that noggin of yours. And you got to learn to cut that off. You got to learn to cut that off because it's going to be easier for you to bring in. And see, the men who are analytical and very logical, those are our guys. Those are our guys. But we have to pull them out of their thinking. We can't do that if we're in our own thinking. You can't do that if you're constantly thinking and trying to solve a problem. Or if you're trying to always go toe-to-toe with him about how to solve the problem. That makes sense. Absolutely. Because you want him to be illogical. Don't y'all think that those old men that be marrying them young women? Because if you go to TikTok right now, there's tons of couples that represent this right now. Those old men are marrying young women. Do you think that was a logical decision or an illogical decision? It's an illogical decision because the older a man gets, the more soft he gets. And since he gets softer, what happens? He tends to, be willing to take more risk. But it wasn't a logical decision for him to marry a young tenderoni to have babies with, and starting over. That's not a logical decision. But if you go to TikTok, you've seen a lot of old men marry young women, old rich men marry young women, having babies with them, which means he's starting over after he had grown children. That's not logical. How did she do it? She made him illogical. That is how she did it. A lot of I think I mentioned this yesterday. I talked about the hard wig, soft life, a movement that's going on TikTok, and a lot of women think it's the hard wig that women wear. And I participated in the trend too, but I know that's not the reason why men are illogical. That's not the reason. Because you can go get you a bad wig all you want. If you're trying to debate him, you're trying to argue with him, you're trying to get over, you're trying to prove that you're right, you're still going to push him away, even with a hard wig on. So you can have that bad wig on your head looking crazy and still pushing a man away. It's not the wig. But women, I don't know why people focus in on things that don't matter, but we do. We tend to focus in to make ourselves feel better. We focus in on things that don't matter, the things that won't change anything. Because so you can go slap your hard wig on, but then go in there and start arguing with a man. Go slap your hard wig on. Go let that wig be busted and disgusted. And I guarantee you what's going to happen. You're still not going to bring in a provider men and make them illogical and get his resources. So when men are talking about what you bring to the table, they're thinking logically. Thank you, Jazz. Like you all, I love you all to death. Thank you all for y'all support. Because when I tell you y'all are getting it, y'all get me. Y'all get me. You get me, babe. That's why they're talking like that. Ignore that ish. Let these other people continue to get triggered about the social media and what people are saying. Men say dumb stuff because the logical thing is to focus in on what women bring to the table, knowing that when a man wants a woman, nothing's going to stand between him and the woman. Nothing. He doesn't care about any of the things that y'all are having conversations about. Those are conversations started by men who got burnt. And they got burnt in relationship. So they started moving more logically. Okay. So of course you hear a man start talking about that he isn't your guy, because that means he's been on social media too much. But that's the reason why they're moving more logically, because they've gotten burnt in the past. Men move illogical when it comes to love. It's the illogical thing for a man to lock himself down to a woman. You have to be more than worth it and make him feel, so that he'll be illogical, marry you, and give you all his resources and protection. I see that this question makes most women chase and argue rather than make the men feel illogical. It's reversed. Yes, it does. It right on the money. I love it. I love it when the plan comes together, because you're getting it. How do you get the man to flow in conversation if he answers questions very directly? What do you mean flow in conversation? Open-ended questions are going to be the only questions that you ask a man in the first place. So I guess you need to articulate or give me something else, because if you want it to flow, you're going to learn the art of redirection. And the art of redirection is being able to listen to what he's saying and be able to regurgitate one of the points he gave. Maybe he said, look, you know what? I went to the stock market and I made $1 million because men are going to brag about themselves. Stop getting offended by a man bragging. A man is peacocking for you. He's literally putting on a show so he can say, hey, here I am. I'm a provider. I'm going to take care of you. I have money. So you're going to let him peacock. Don't get offended by peacocking. And don't be in awe of him peacocking either. Don't be concerned about the peacock unless the peacock put money in your hand. Unless he's like, I have all of this, and then he slaps $1,000 on the table or something, or he slaps a car key or something to a car. Like, you don't be impressed by the peacocking, but you're not offended by it either. If he wants to impress you, he has to earn you. So instead of getting offended by those things, he's like, I made $1 million on stock market, because I've heard women, I'm on social media too, and I see that women get offended by the darnest things. And she was talking, I've heard women give this exact scenario where a guy was talking about how much money he made. Instead of you getting upset and offended, you could be like, you made you made $1 million on the stock market? Ooh, I'd love to hear more. That is how you redirect. The art of redirection is going to be important for everyone to learn. That's going to keep the conversation in flow. Learn how to regurgitate one of his talking points and then redirect the conversation back to him so he can continue to talk. Because sometimes silence impresses men also. Like when you're not really doing a lot of talking, you're going to get a second date. I guarantee you, if you try this on a date, you will get a date every single time. If you go in and learn the art of redirection and laugh and giggle and have fun, I guarantee you, before the date ends, he's going to ask you on a second date. And if you haven't had success, been constant getting a second date, you might want to try this, so you can get that confidence and build it up and experience. This is a word. Thank you. Also, socially awkward men. One in my rotation always mention other women when storytelling. but treats me well otherwise, knowing I never address it. Don't address it. You know why he wants you to address it? He's mentioning other women because he thinks you're going to be able to do those things that other women are doing. It's indirectly. I think I talked to you all about doing stuff that's indirect by setting a standard. He's trying to set a standard for you, or something that he probably wants you to do. Ignore it. Ignore it. And if you want to acknowledge it, you're like, oh, that's nice for her. Like, I love that for her. And you keep it moving. You don't change anything unless it's something that's going to help you make him feel illogical about you. If it's not something that's going to make him feel illogical about you, the reason he's trying to set a standard indirectly, and men do this who are players. Women have to learn to do that, but men, they do this when they're players. They try to make women compete against each other. So you've been doing the right thing. You say you've never been addressing it. I would not address it. Like, I wouldn't address it. It's like women liking him at church and work. Yeah, he's trying to make you feel jealous, make you probably give more in the relationship. He's trying to flip the script. But he wants you to be chasing him with the ring. He wants you to pursue him. And 9 out of 10, I'm going to tell you where you got it from: social media. Social media. Because he's socially awkward, he don't have the experience. He don't have the experience in women chasing him. But he's probably been on social media where they have taught him about that technique. And it's the same technique I taught you all yesterday in my last video. How to set the standard? You do it indirectly. You never, ever, ever tell him what standard you're trying to have him to do or accomplish. You set it indirectly, just like he did. Like, you talk about other people and how they treat you in your life. You talk about how other people take care of you and how you feel like a princess. You know, most of the time I just feel like a princess in my life, because I don't know what it is that people always come out and they try to either pay for my food, or they try to help me get, they pay for my Uber. I just don't know what it is. I must be blessed. Like, I must be blessed, because I'm feeling this princess treatment in my life. People are just coming out the woodwork to do something for me. That's how you set standards indirectly, and not tell him, oh, I need you to go and give me Uber. I need you to, no. You don't do all that. You set it indirectly. Won't work. It sure won't. Pull a little tink tink. Pull a little tink tink. Because that's silly. He's socially awkward. He just wants some more attention, and he feels like you have the upper hand, and he's trying to change the power dynamic. Because some men have tapped into this echo chamber where they feel like the power dynamic, they should be the center of a woman's life. And see, that is not the correct power dynamic. It doesn't even work on a spiritual level. A husband is meant to serve. He's supposed to be of service to the woman and to the children. Men who get out of that order don't tend to have happy marriage. It sounds so easy to make me illogical. Have fun, be interesting, and have confidence. Yes, ma'am. I'm not giving you all anything that should not be what grown women do. Yep, tell stories to indirectly set the standard. That's what I do. It works. It works every single time. The way to get out your head is guided meditation, listening to understand instead of being right and saying okay and being okay. Yes, thank you, Whitney, for that tip, because you got to get out your head. If I were you, and I'm still doing this work, I'm still learning about myself, I'm still getting to my feminine brand, I would start getting myself into my body before I even go on dates. I suggest you come up with a routine where, either you like dance and get all that nervous energy out your body, or you talk to a friend, but you do something, get your routine together, kind of get out of your head and get into your body. So when you go on dates, you're already in your body and you're being felt. You're being felt. He can feel that you're in your body. He can feel you're in your body the way that you walk. He can feel that you're in your body the way that you toss your hair. He can feel that you're in your body the way that you eat your food. He can feel that you're in your body the way that you respond. Men can feel when a woman is withdrawn. And so you want to, if you are very nervous, or like dating is kind of new to you, you've been out of the dating market for a very long time, then you want to make sure you have put your routine together so that you can get into your body. Junk journaling helps as well. It clears the head. Yes, it does. Trust me. Like when I tell you I got notebook after notebook after notebook, because I tend to keep all of my notebooks because I don't ever want to forget the stages that I have been through as a woman. So I keep all of my journals. I have them all here in my office. But you want him to be illogical because, especially in this day and age where a man can literally get on social media or he can go to the corner store and he can get a free lunch. A woman will give him a free lunch. A woman will give a man a place to stay. A woman will take care of a man. A woman will work for a man. So if you know that that's available, you need to make him illogical. That's the only way that you're going to be able to obtain the provider, the protection, and things that you desire from men, by making them feel and then making them be illogical about you. I have date rituals. It starts with a goddess bath, then getting ready to some music that invokes my senses. Absolutely. Perfect. This will be on loop, my loop replay. Thank you, Joy. Absolutely. Make sure you all take the time to kind of like the video, because it says we have like 28 people here. Like the video. I can already tell that it's in the algorithm. The videos are coming up in the algorithm because I've had some men show up over here and they are argumentative. They don't understand. I don't argue with men. So if we don't have any other questions or comments that you're going to make, I want you to realize it's very easy as a woman to trigger, to make a man feel illogical, to make a man crazy. It's very easy to do that. I don't want to use the word obsessed either. You know why I don't use the word obsessed? Because I've learned a hard lesson. As a woman who's perfected this, I created a stalker for myself. So I had to go down there and get those papers to keep that man away from me. And the only reason he stayed away from me is because of my husband. My husband handled it where he would never come. Matter of fact, anytime if I go home to my hometown, he literally would actually cross the road and go to the other side. So I had to perfect it, and I made some mistakes in that time. I made some mistakes because what I did, and I'm gonna tell you what I did, and I'm gonna be honest. The reason I created a stalker is because I was overly sexual. Like I was saying sexual things. Don't do that. That's the reason why I would never tell you to say sexual things to keep him away from the cookie. Because when you say sexual things and you're never ever intending for him to have the cookie, he can become your stalker. And so I learned that at a very young age. And so what I did, I perfected my process. And that is how I ended up with 3 proposals. And I took one, and my husband is the current husband, 23 years. I chose right. That's all I got to say. I chose right. I made the best decision for myself. And I'm thankful that I made the best decision for myself. They're coming in arguing because they're illogical. Yes, they are. They're coming in arguing because they're illogical. And these are the guys that they are the hardest to make feel illogical because they're already illogical. Oh wait, they're logical? No. They're not logical. Men who are arguing against the things that I put out, especially when my husband knows what I put out. I don't hide what I put out on social media. He knows. He supports my page wholeheartedly. Before I even had a platform, my husband used to share my videos to his own platform, and he doesn't even have a following, but he just wanted to support. So he knows what I talk about. Men who actually sit down and listen with a logical ear to the information I'm putting out, they will wholeheartedly agree. Men who are already illogical and living a life of, being a bad boy and wanting that free lunch, they're going to disagree and they're going to argue. Thank you, Brill, for this live. You're welcome. Do you have any merch? No, I don't have any merch. I have no merch at all. I haven't even considered getting any. I haven't considered getting one. Maybe that's a thought though. Okay, gotcha. Yes, absolutely. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the live stream. I thank you all for being here. I appreciate my pedestal wife and my inner circle members for your support and staying here all the way, for, entire hour. But making me logical, and as a woman, it's easy to do. It's only hard when we allow our fears and insecurity and what ifs to go against that. You can make men illogical. Men want to provide for you. They want to protect you. They want to take care of you. They want to give you all his resources. They want to sign everything over to you. Just making me illogical, so he'll do it. You're welcome. You're welcome. This video staying up. Yes, I'm gonna let this video stay up. Everybody keeps asking me about that, even with the last video. Like, is it gonna stay up? I was so tempted to take it down. I was so tempted to take down the last video, but I'm not, because you all keep coming through saying, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So I'm going to listen to the community and I'm going to keep it up. But I thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all on the next one. You all have a wonderful day. Bye.